President Chairman of the CII Coimbatore Zone, Ravi Sam, past chairpersons, members of the CII Coimbatore Zone, ladies and gentlemen. You have a theme today, today's program. It says, give till it hurts. I have nothing to give. It's a question of trying to hurt myself doesn't arise. But I'd like to stress on two things about which I am very seriously concerned. The first one is we adopted democracy as the political system of governance in this country. Though the system was discussed way back in 1946 by the Constituent Assembly, accepted by the country on 26th of January 1950, everybody said the system's definition was government of the people, by the people, for the people. Does that system still continue is a question which is lingering in my mind. The second one, which is also part of the theme of the seminar, is to identify heroes. I want to say something about that. So my address to you is going to be on these two lines. Maybe I'll be digressing a bit just to emphasize on certain other aspects. When the Constituent Assembly was constituted in the year 1946, in anticipation of we getting independence, which was slated for the midnight of 14th and 15th of August 1947, the first question that came up for consideration before this assembly was, what type of a political governance this country should have? There were many systems available internationally. There was the monarchy. There were different isms. There was dictatorship. And when our members of the Constituent Assembly, who were mostly people who had fought for the freedom of India, very seriously expressed the view that we Indians were never ever individually independent. We were ruled by the Rajas and Maharajas. Thereafter we were ruled by the foreigners. But we were never independent in the true sense and within the four corners of law. Therefore, let us have a system which will create a feeling in the mind of every citizen that I am the ruler, I am the administrator. Though not directly, I appoint or nominate somebody to do this. So that I have the feeling that I am governing the country, I am governing myself, and the governance is by me. So we adopted this system, hoping that every Indian who was alive then, and those who may come in the later date, will feel that he is in a country which he rules himself. This was a system that was accepted. Let me deviate a little bit about what had transpired in that Constituent Assembly. For almost 4 years, the Assembly sat, met very many times. It was there in existence till early January 1950. Never, ever there were walkouts. Never, ever there were unparliamentary words used. Behavior was not that which could not have been anticipated. No missiles were thrown. All difference of opinion was settled by dialogue. I give one instance. When the question arose whether a person who wants to be a candidate to be a representative of the people should have any qualification before filing his nomination, one senior leader stood up and said, right to vote is a different thing in democracy. Everybody above a certain age must have the right to vote. But right to be a representative is something different. He must have the knowledge what exactly his duties are. Therefore, let us introduce a little qualification so that he can understand his responsibilities and he knows what to go and talk in the assembly or the parliament. Place before them the difficulties faced by his constituents. Almost everybody in the House agreed. I believe that's what the editor's note says in the Constituent Assembly debate book. One voice stands up, knowing very well he is a minority, in the sense, in the numerically minority. But he still says, President Sir, recently we adopted democracy as the system of governance. You all told us it meant government of the people, by the people, for the people. We all had a role to play in it. But since all of us could not sit in the assembly or the executive or the judiciary, we sent our representatives there either through the process of election or through the process of selection. But today you want to impose an educational qualification as a condition precedent. Sir, today the population of India, this is in 1946, is 40 crores, out of which 80% of the people are illiterates. You are reserving this right to represent the people to a 20% population of this country. Will this be a true democracy, or will it be a 20% democracy? Again, the editor's note says, the House was stunned. There was nobody to oppose. Compare it with what would have happened today. He would have been shouted down. On the contrary, the gentleman who spoke, the honorable member, stands up and says, I am sorry, I was wrong. The honorable member who suggested this, his views are correct. I did not think it in that lines. I am convinced that I am wrong and he is right. And the parliament and the Constituent Assembly then decides to leave this issue to the parliament to be elected later and bring in a law called the People's Act, Representation of People's Act. Just see the difference in the political system, the behavior of our leaders. You would have noticed when 2G scam was revealed, Parliament decided to inquire into it. They wanted whether the JPC, Joint Parliamentary Committee, or PAC, the Public Accounts Committee, both are committees of the Parliament, which one should investigate? The debate went on for 23 days. Not the whole day. The beginning itself, there will be a ruckus, and they all walked out. House adjourned. I go to very many colleges to interact with students. On the 17th day, one student asked me, Sir, what a shame. 17 days have gone by and our parliamentarians have not been able to pass one bill, sir. I told him, young man, you're wrong. Hundreds of bills have been passed. The members' eating bill, sleeping bill, standing bill, walking bill, all bills have been passed, but not the bills that are necessary for which they have been sent there. Please notice the difference of the proceedings in the Constituent Assembly and what's happening. 9 days have gone in this monsoon session. I was watching the television in the afternoon. I was told even today the House was adjourned and is now adjourned to 9th of this month, December. We in Karnataka had a very interesting situation when the governor in October 2010 asked then the chief minister to prove his majority. The proceedings were telecasted live. We could see the police commissioner being beaten up. Marshals of the House was beaten up. And there was a vernacular channel which was playing a song which says, "Is this the culture we have? Idene sabhyate, idene samskriti." They are our elected representatives. They do not consider themselves as our representatives. They think they are the rulers. In Praja Prabhutva, it is the Praja who is the Prabhu and not the representative. These are people who are sent to the parliament as our representative. The principal does not lose his right by sending this representative. He only follows the instructions that the principal gives him. It's not my personal view based on certain prejudices. Ladies and gentlemen, you would have read a few months back when the members of the civil society were negotiating with the government of India in regard to Lokpal bill. One member of the parliament repeatedly said, "Who are you, unelected, unelectable tyrants? Who are you to negotiate with the government? We are the people who have been empowered under the Constitution to negotiate with the government." I read he's a lawyer, but I don't think he's read the Constitution. The very first sentence in the Constitution reads, "We, the people of India, give unto ourselves this Constitution." Nobody has gifted this Constitution to the citizens of India. No parliament has given it to us. We have accepted a constitution drafted by the Constitution Assembly. And today, their temerity of the elected people, their arrogance is such. They think they are the rulers and we are the people who are being ruled. Is this the democracy our forefathers contemplated? What does one ordinary man feel when dictations are given to us by elected representatives, either individually or bodies of people?